Hello everyone, my name is Sarafi and I'm happy to meet you all. Tons of Duel links today, and we also have the Genesis Point update, which will be a separate video. So good to see you all. Let's get started. To start with, we do have some leaked cards and leaked skills. This anniversary box or mini box, whatever it's going to be, the upcoming January box is going to be insane. I predicted that. I said to skip the December box, so I hope you did. Because you're going to need all the gems that you can get for this. Let's get started. Yugi, you can only use the skills first and second effects once per duel if your deck contains a total of 15 or more Dark Magicians or cards that mention it. This is a problem, and it's the same for the Red Eyes skill. So if you have 15 cards that mention Dark Magician or Red Eyes, that means that you are going to have like barely enough space to also play Primite and then Staples. You can make a 30-card deck where you have Dark Magician, and then you also have Ether Barrel and Lordly Load and Drill Beam, and then like maybe Forbidden Droplet. But probably you're going to want to see if you can build this deck without a skill, so you can try and get it as close to 20 cards as possible. You know, one Blue Eyes, one Red Eyes, one Dark Magician, and then some Primite cards, Staples, Fusions, that sort of thing. That's probably going to be the best version of the deck, even though I think most people will probably try and play it with the skill and maybe cut the Primite cards, which is not ideal. Skills are a crutch. You have to understand, the skills are a crutch. We don't have skills in the real game. Primite Dragon Ether Barrel is a card that sees play to this day. It is that good. You don't need a skill to make this card work even through disruptions, because it eats disruptions and then you can still keep playing the game. So just keep that in mind. Alright. Shuffle one card from your hand to your deck. Play one Timaeus the United Dragon from your hand face up to your field. Then you can add 2 Dark Magicians or cards that mention it from your deck to your hand. This is actually very similar to the skill that I proposed, where I thought, okay, you need to get 2 Dark Magicians or cards that mentions it so that you can add like Dark Magician and Timaeus the United Dragon, and then you discard a card to summon Timaeus. Timaeus fuse with Dark Magician, make the Dragoon, then you play like Magician's the spell card that lets you banish 2 cards from your graveyard to summon a spellcaster. I think it's called like Magician's, what is it called? What is the card that lets you fusion summon from the graveyard called? Oh no, it's Magicalized Fusion. Magicalized Fusion, that's what it's called. This one. Fusion summon a spellcaster fusion monster from an extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on from the graveyard. Yeah. So that was my thought when I first heard that we were getting Dragoon, was that they would do a skill like this where you could get Timaeus, Dark Magician, and then you just play 3 copies of Magicalized Fusion and try to hard draw it so that you could make 2 Dragoons. In this case, I guess technically if you open Timaeus the United Dragon, then you can play the Timaeus the United Dragon from your hand for free, and then you can grab like Timaeus, or then you can grab Dark Magician and no, I mean you still wouldn't be able to just like search a card that could get you a second Dragoon. So yeah, there will definitely be an opportunity for you to play 2 Dragoons with this deck. You just have to be lucky or creative, or you have to go second. If your opponent controls a monster, or you control a face-up Dragon Dark Magician monster. So, if you are wondering what that means, we'll go over that in a second. Set 1 Dark Magician or 1 Dark Magician girl from your deck to your field. You cannot set a card that's already on your field with this effect. Then add 1 Eye of Timaeus from outside your deck to your hand. Okay, so here, hold on. Okay, so what do they mean by a Dragon Dark Magician? Okay, so there is a card called Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, which, I'm on Master Duel. Hold on. And pull up Duel Links so that you guys can know which cards are in the game, which cards are not. Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. Okay, so there's a monster card called Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight, which is a Dragon fusion monster that's a fusion of Dark Magician plus 1 Dragon. This card's name becomes Dark Magician while it is on the field or in the graveyard. Your opponent cannot target spells or traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. This protects your Eternal Bond from being destroyed, which makes it significantly better. So for the people who are like, True Light is better than Eternal Bond, that is because Dark Magician has, just like Blue Eye Spirit Dragon has a way to stop True Light from affecting them by negating the effect in the graveyard, Dark Magician also has a card that prevents their spell cards from being destroyed by card effects. It's just that Konami didn't give us that card yet. Again, Duel Links is a bad game. That's your fault. But regardless, now we're getting Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, so you guys can actually play Eternal Bond. Alright. Okay. Alright, so if your opponent controls a monster or you control a face-up Dragon Dark Magician, set 1 Dark Magician or 1 Dark Magician Girl from your deck to your field. Its battle position can be changed. You cannot set a card that's already on the field with this effect, then add 1 Eye of Timaeus from outside your deck to your hand. Okay, so what does this mean? So, technically speaking, if you want, the first effect of the skill you can use to make a Dark Magician the Dragon Knight. Then you can activate the second effect of the skill to play Dark Magician Girl, and you can use from one of the cards that you search with the first effect of the skill could be Sage's Stone, which will allow you to special summon Dark Magician from your deck because you control Dark Magician Girl. Then you play Eye of Timaeus and turn your Dark Magician into Red Eye Dark Dragoon. Because Eye of Timaeus says, target 1 Dark Magician monster you control, fusion summon 1 monster from your extra deck that lists that monster on the field as material, using it as fusion material. So, Dark Dragoon does explicitly list Dark Magician as fusion material, so it can be made with just Eye of Timaeus on Dark Magician. So, there you go. So, you can, with this skill, if you open Eye of Timaeus the United Dragon, you can Timaeus the United Dragon, fuse into Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, then set the Dark Magician Girl, activate the Sage's Stone, play your Eye of Timaeus, go into Dragoon, and that will leave you with, let me see, you used a card from your hand. Timaeus was in your hand, so that's the second card. So you have 2 cards left. Okay, so then you have 1 card that you would want to discard for Dragoon. Yeah, okay, so then you have, your end board is Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, Dragoon, Timaeus the United Dragon, no. Dark Magician the Dragon Knight, Dragoon, Dark Magician Girl, and then 1 card, because you have to keep 1 card in your hand to use for Dragoon's Omni Negate. So the other card is probably going to be, hopefully, it's going to be Magician's Salvation, which will allow you to set Eternal Bond. And then that's your board, which is not amazing, but it does have an Omni Negate, and if you have Eternal Bond, then your Dark Magician the Dragon Knight is unaffected by card effects, and it protects your Eternal Bond from being destroyed. So it's basically like you have to beat Dark Magician the Dragon Knight in battle, or else you're stuck with a 3,000 monster that can't get killed. So there you go. That's an interesting idea. So I think the skill is not great. This will allow you to basically learn how to play Dragoon for those of you that don't know how to play the game. I think this is like training wheels. It'll teach you how to play Dragoon. It'll teach you how to use Timaeus the United Dragon, Sage's Stone, Eye of Timaeus, cards that you probably haven't used too much before. And then once you actually understand how Dark Magician works, then you can drop the skill and play Primite Dark Magician. Good luck. Next up is the Red Eyes skill. You can only use the skill's first and second effects once per duel if your deck contains a total of 15 or more Lord of the Red or Red Eyes cards. Reveal 1 Lord of the Red, Red Eyes Black Dragon, or Red Eyes Transmigration in your hand. Add Lord of the Red or Red Eyes Transmigration from your deck to your hand. Then you can add 1 Red Eyes card from your deck to your hand. Okay, so reveal Lord of the Red, Red Eyes Black Dragon, Red Eyes Transmigration. Add Lord of the Red or Red Eyes Transmigration from your deck to your hand. Now, the problem with Lord of the Red, this has always been a frustrating part of Lord of the Red, is Lord of the Red is a level 8 for some stupid reason. I don't know why. So Lord of the Red is level 8, and that means that you cannot Ritual Summon with just Red Eyes. So it's kind of weird that the skill is saying, okay, well, if you have Lord of the Red, Red Eyes Black Dragon, or Red Eyes Transmigration, you can get either Lord of the Red or Red Eyes Transmigration from your deck to your hand, which will then allow you to theoretically ritual summon. But you need another monster, so that's kind of frustrating. Lord of the Red is a good monster, though. Level 8 Fire Dragon Ritual Monster. You can ritual summon this card with Red Eyes Transmigration. Once per turn during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated except Lord of the Red, you can target one monster on the field and destroy it. And then once per turn during either player's turn when a card or effect is activated except Lord of the Red, you can target one spell or trap on the field and destroy it. Now these are both soft once per turns. The monster cannot target off itself, but you can make multiple Lord of the Reds, and that will allow you to then potentially pop as many cards as your opponent. Every time your opponent activates a card, you can basically destroy it. It's basically like a really bad version of Ryziel Detonair, which is fine. Duel Links is at the stage where Ryziel Detonair would be too powerful, so this is basically like acceptable levels of power. Transmigration is this card is used to ritual summon Lord of the Red. You must also tribute monsters from your hand or field, and or banish Red Eyes monsters from your graveyard whose total levels equal 8 or more. If your opponent controls a monster or you control a face-up Red Eyes monster, add 1 Dark Magician, Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight, Meteor, Red Eyes Dragon Impact, Red Eyes Archfiend of Lightning, or Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon from outside your deck to your hand. Send the remaining cards from outside your deck to the graveyard. They can be summoned. So this card will allow you to draw Dark Magician from outside your deck, allowing you then to immediately go into Dragoon, which is pretty good. And the other cards get sent to the graveyard, which means that you can banish them from the graveyard in order to activate the effect of Red Eyes Transmigration. So that's awesome. I do not know Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon off the top of my head. Oh, it's this one. Okay. This is the Gemini monster. Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon. Gemini monster. I'm not even gonna cover a Gemini monster. You guys don't care about that. Archfiend of Lightning is another Gemini monster, which is fine. I think Red Eyes Dragon Impact is also a Gemini, isn't it? Gearfried the Red Eyes Iron Knight is a good card. That's, I think, the only good one. Yeah, Red Eyes Impact. I didn't realize there were 3 Red Eyes Gemini monsters. That's wild. I don't know why they did that. Okay. So yeah, basically you would never want any of these cards in your hand. So you dump all of them to the graveyard, you draw your Dark Magician, you activate Polymerization, you go into Dragoon, and then you just play Transmigration to banish all these cards and get your Lord of the Red. Pretty solid. So... Okay. So I guess you play 3 Lord of the Red, 3 Red Eyes Transmigrations, and 3 Red Eyes Black Dragons. And if you can summon multiple... The skill does let you kind of like get to a point where... can you play Pre-Preparation of Rites? I think you can. You can play Pre-Preparation of Rites. So Pre-Preparation of Rites will allow you to draw both Lord of the Red and Red Eyes Transmigration. Then if you then you can be like, okay, I opened one of these. I opened like Lord of the Red or Red Eyes Transmigration. Now I can activate the skill and I can, reveal it and I can draw the other cards. So then you have 2 Lord of the Reds and 2 Red Eyes Transmigrations. And then you dump all these cards. This is 4, 6, 6, and 7. So this does give you enough cards in your graveyard to where you could play Red Eyes Transmigration 2 times, and without using any cards from your hand, you would then be able to ritual summon Lord of the Red twice, and then you can play Dragoon. So it seems good. The problem is that I guess they expect you to play Red Eyes Fusion, but that's bad because Red Eyes Fusion requires that you don't summon anything else for the rest of the game. So I think that you're going to have to play Polymerization. And the problem is that that's outside of the 15 cards. So you're going to have to play 15 cards and then also Polymerization so you can play Dragoon. And I don't know, maybe you play 3 Polymerizations and 3 King of the Swamp so that you can search. So you can search Polymerization and also so that King of the Swamp acts as Dark Magician if your opponent doesn't control a monster and you want to go into Dragoon right away. So that's already 21 cards. I don't know what this is going to look like. I do think that being able to just ritual summon Lord of the Red twice and then also summoning Dragoon would be a crazy board. I think this skill looks a lot better than the skill for Dark Magician. But I don't know what the list is going to look like. It is going to be 30 cards, 100%, but I don't know what it really would realistically look like. I'd be interested to see it, though. Alright, next up is the Dragon Ruler skill. This is the same as all the other Dragon Ruler skills. Beginning of your main phase, you can send up to 2 Earth Dragon Ruler monsters from your hand to the graveyard to draw the same number of cards. From turn 2 onward, reveal 1 Earth Dragon Ruler monster in your hand, then add 1 Earth Dragon Ruler with a different level than that monster from your deck to your hand. So this box, we're getting Redox. Redox will be as impactful as the other Dragon Rulers at the moment, which is to say, not at all. Redox Dragon Ruler Boulders. If this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can banish a total of 2 Earth and or Dragon monsters from your hand or graveyard, except this card, and special summon it. During your opponent's end phase, if this card was special summoned, return it to the hand. You can discard this card and 1 Earth monster, then target 1 monster in your graveyard and special summon that target. If this card is banished, you can add 1 Earth Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. So the only thing that makes Redox more interesting than Blaster or Tempest is that it can be used to. The only thing that makes it interesting is that you can banish it to use the cost of Block Dragon. And Block Dragon, it will give you additional Earth Dragon monsters as a material that you can use to continue to summon Block Dragon. The problem is that without Barone de Fleur, or without, without a solid Link monster that you can go into, Block Dragon spam is not all that useful. We do need more cards before Block Dragon becomes like a really good, really powerful tool for Adamanticators. It's definitely something to look out for. You should not be upset if you pull Redox, and I imagine Redox will probably be an SR just like Tempest was, because it's not as powerful as Blaster is. But this is definitely like a card that you pick up and you hold on to, which is very frustrating that they're doing this with all the Dragon Rulers. Okay. Next up, I'm not covering any of the Marin stuff. That's coming out this month. You guys don't need me to talk about that. That's like in 2 days or something. Zodiacs. This skill can be used once per duel if your deck contains 6 or more Zodiac monsters, your extra deck contains no level 4 monsters, and all monsters in your extra deck are Beast Warriors. Your extra deck contains no level 4 monsters. What? What level 4 Beast Warrior are they worried about? Okay, I did not read this skill before. I'm curious. What do I not know about Zodiacs that these guys know? Hold on. Beast Warrior. Level 4. And then the only monsters in the extra deck that have levels are Fusion and Synchro. Fusion and Synchro. Nothing? There's no Fusion or Synchro Beast Warriors that are level 4. Then what's the point? Yeah, like, okay, I took the Fusion and Synchro off. I'm scrolling down, and it's just Xyz monsters. That's a weird restriction. I don't know if that might be a mistranslation, because that doesn't make any sense. All right. You cannot special summon monsters with more than 2,000 attack, excluding special summons from the extra deck. Okay, cool. So, no Nibiru. Stop it. On turn 2 onward, set 1 Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your field. Its battle position can be changed. It does say normal right here, but that's been confirmed to be a mistranslation. Okay. So, so wait, so the skill does nothing if you go first? On turn 2, so it restricts you, but all it does is it lets you summon a Beast Warrior monster from your deck to your field if you go second. Alright. I mean, I guess Zodiacs don't need that much help. So for those of you that don't know what Zodiacs are a series of level 4 Beast Warrior monsters that are Earth, and they have a bunch of Xyz monsters. They're meant to represent the Zodiac, obviously, and the thing is that the Xyz monsters can be used, like, you can use the Xyz monsters to rank up into other Xyz monsters. So all of the Zodiac Xyz monsters have Once per turn, you can also Xyz summon a monster of this name by using one Zodiac monster you control with a different name as Xyz material. If you used an Xyz monster, any Xyz materials attached to it also become Xyz materials on this card. And then they all say this card gains attack and defense equal to the attack and defense of Zodiac monsters attached to it as material, and all the Xyz monsters have 0 attack and defense points. So, oftentimes Zodiac monsters are made with just one monster as material, which means their stats usually kind of suck. But it depends on, I mean, that's kind of the reason why the skill is going to give you an extra monster. So you can potentially actually Xyz summon, and if you actually Xyz summon, then you have like potentially 3,000 attack points or something like that. So, let's see. Zodiac Whiptail, level 4, Beast Warrior. Quick effect, you can target one Beast Warrior Xyz monster you control and attach this card from your hand or field to it as material. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. If this card battles an opponent's monster after damage calculation, banish that monster regardless of attack and defense points. Pretty good. Zodiac Thoroughblade. If this card is normal or special summon, you can discard one Zodiac card if you do draw one card. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. Inflict piercing. Zodiac Rat Pierre. If this card is normal summon, you can send one Zodiac card from your deck to the graveyard. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. Once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card to special summon one Zodiac Rat Pierre from your hand or your deck. Zodiac Ram Ram. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target one Zodiac monster in your graveyard and special summon it. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. When your opponent activates a trap card or effect that targets this card, as a quick effect, you can attach one material from this card and negate the activation, but not destroy the card. Okay. Zodiac Cataroost. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target one Zodiac card in your graveyard, except Cataroost, and shuffle it into the deck. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect that targets this card, you can attach one Xyz material from this card and negate the activation. And Zodiac Bunny Blast. If this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target one Zodiac card in your graveyard, except Bunny Blast, and add it to your hand. An Xyz monster whose original type is Beast Warrior has this card as material against this effect. During either player's turn, when your opponent activates a spell card or effect that targets this card, you can attach one material from this card and negate the activation. So ideally, you would want Bunny Blast, Cataroost, and Ram Ram all attached to the same monster as material. But I don't know if there's a way that you can actually do that. Barrage lets you target a face-up card you control and destroy it, which will be your Barrage. Special summon a Zodiac monster from your deck. If this card is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one Zodiac Xyz monster you control. Attach this card from your graveyard to that Xyz monster as Xyz material. Okay, so this card does let you summon an Xyz monster, it does let you summon a monster from your deck, but then its effect only activates if you already control an Xyz monster when it's destroyed, which makes it a lot worse for like setting up like a 2 material Xyz summon. Zodiac Combo. Target one Zodiac Xyz monster you control and attach a Zodiac monster from your deck to that monster as material. That is good. And Zodiac Gathering. If a Zodiac Xyz monster you control would attach Xyz materials, you can attach Xyz materials from another Xyz monster you control instead. Okay. Alright. Seems fine. Now for the Zodiac Xyz monsters themselves, they're all kind of unique and different. Tiger Mortar. Once per turn, you can attach one material from this card, target an Xyz monster you control, and one Zodiac monster in your graveyard. Attach that Zodiac monster to that Xyz monster as Xyz material. So it lets you mix and match your Xyz materials, which is kind of a useful effect, but since it costs a material, it's not all that great. Hammer Kong. While this card has material, your opponent cannot target face-up Zodiac monsters on the field with card effects except this one, and then once per turn during the end phase, detach a material from this card. So Hammer Kong, not a card you want to end on. Broad Bull. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card. Add one Beast Warrior monster that can be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand. So Broad Bull is a great starting Xyz material, Xyz card to, you detach a material, search a card. You can then add your Whiptail, and then Whiptail can attach to the monster. Chakanine. Once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, target a Zodiac monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but it cannot be used as Xyz material for an Xyz summon, and its effects are negated, which is pretty bad. And then there's the 2 monsters that are the real kickers. So first up is Borbo. This card can attack your opponent directly. While this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, while it has 12 or more Xyz materials, you can send as many cards as possible from your opponent's hand and field to the graveyard, then change this card to defense position. So Borbo is meant to be the finisher card that allows you to literally, like, all 12 monsters are used, and therefore you can then nuke your opponent's entire life. Cool. That's a very Zodiac theme. Pretty hard to pull off. Usually takes multiple turns. I don't know that it's even possible when we have only 9 cards in the extra deck, because basically the way that you do this is you survive one turn and then you just like use all the Xyz monsters as material one more time and end on Borbo in order to get 12 materials. But I mean, maybe this could happen with the trap card. We'll have to see. And then the big boss monster, which is still limited to 1 in the TCG for some reason, Zodiac Drytron. Once per turn during either player's turn, you can attach 1 material from this card, target 1 face-up card on the field, and destroy it. So it's literally just a quick effect pop for no reason. Pretty good. This is definitely Zodiac's best monster, and it will just allow you to basically stop your opponent from even making plays. They normal summon a monster, you pop their monster that they normal summoned. Now they can't, special summon a monster from their hand. They can't special summon a monster from their deck. If they summon a monster, then they don't have 2 monsters to use as material. You basically just stop your opponent's first play and hope that's enough. That's what Dryden does, which usually works, to be honest. All right, cool. That's it for Zodiacs. Next up, we have Branded. You can only use the skill's second effect once per turn and twice per duel. You cannot normal or special summon monsters, excluding special summons from the extra deck, except Fallen of Albaz, monsters that mention it, Ecclesia, Ice Jade, Springens, Sword Soul, and or Tri-Brigade monsters. Each turn, if your opponent has a card in their field or their graveyard, you can normal summon or set 1 monster in addition to your normal summoner set. Reveal 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it in your hand. Add 2 Branded High Spirits, Ecclesia, Ice Jade, Sword Soul, Springens, and or Tri-Brigade monsters from your deck to your hand. Then either send to the graveyard or shuffle into the deck 1 card from your hand. Okay. So this is like the final branded skill. I can't imagine that they're going to print another branded card. Like, this is like basically meant to wrap everything up, right? So I assume that at this point they're like saying that Bestials are coming later and they're not going to include Bestials in this. Sprite is not included, which is interesting. And neither is Therion. So yeah, this should be fine. I mean, this is the end of the year. They've been printing Fallen of Albaz cards all year, so should be cool. I think that a lot of people will be excited to have a branded skill that's good, because the branded skill that they gave us earlier wasn't all that great. I haven't looked at the leaks for the branded cards. I know that branded sword was in there. We do need quite a few cards for branded to actually be a playable deck. But this... Oh! Actually, hold on. I just realized that you can't summon Despia monsters with this. Why? Why did they exclude Despia from this skill? That's bad. Like Alubra is one of the most important cards in branded. That's terrible. Yeah. Trash skill. Disappointing. Alright, this is... Okay, here are the cards. Let me go over the rest of the skills real quick. Traptrix. You can only use this skill second and third effects once per turn. Once per duel. Number 1, this has not been fully translated yet. I assume that this probably says during your turn you can only normal or special summon either Traptrix monsters or plant and insect monsters, something like that. Reveal 1 Traptrix Garden or 1 Traptrix Holotea in your hand. Send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, then add 2 Traptrix monsters and or whole normal trap cards from your deck to your hand, which is fantastic. So Traptrix Garden and Traptrix Holotea are both cards that you want to play at 3. And Holotea is a card that you don't care about sending from your hand to the graveyard because you can banish it from your graveyard to use its effect. So, excellent. This lets you draw 2 Traptrix monsters, you'll draw one of your starters, and then you win the game. Something, this turn you can conduct 2 normal summons or sets. If activated from turn 2 onward, you can play 1 Traptrix monster from your deck or extra deck to your field. And yes, so you might be thinking, I don't want to play an Xyz monster with no materials. That is true. So this is an indication that we are getting the Link monsters finally, which we are. Amazing. So, let me pull up Traptrix real quick. Alright, so I mean, we have a lot of cards already, and I believe all the cards that we do not have been leaked. So, Garden and Holotea are referenced by name. If we look at the leaks, Trap Tantalizing Tune, Traptrix Arachnocampa, Traptrix Adipus, Traptrix Cularia, Traptrix Holotea, Traptrix Pinguicula, Traptrix Pudica, and Traptrix Sarah. Is that all of them? Arachnocampa, Pinguicula, Pudica, Adipus, Cularia, Sarah, Altart, Sarah, Garden, and Holotea. Yes. Fantastic. Along with Trap Tantalizing Tune, which we will go over. So, okay. Let me go through the rest of the skills real quick, and then I'll talk about this. Alright. Can be activated by revealing one level 8 monster in your hand. Oh, this is a rush skill. I don't care. Drytrons. You can only use the skill second and third effects once per duel. You cannot normal summon monsters except light monsters. You cannot special summon monsters excluding special summons from the extra deck except ritual monsters and or Drytron monsters, which is perfectly fine. Drytrons already restrict you from doing that. Reveal one level 1 Drytron monster in your hand and add one ritual monster or one Meteos Drytron from your deck to your hand. Then send one level 1 Drytron monster from your deck to the graveyard. If your opponent controls a monster, add one Drytron Spoiler Trap from your deck to your hand. Love it. For some insanely stupid reason, Konami gave Drytrons a skill that says, draw Benton. Maybe, just maybe, this is probably the only thing that could convince me to play this game again. Guaranteed Benton in my opening hand with Drytrons? You've got my attention. Yes, this is going to suck because you only have 3 zones and you can't ritual summon to the extra monster zone. But, that does look tempting. So for those of you who don't know how this works, Cyber Angel Benton. If this card is tributed, you can add one Light Fairy monster from your deck to your hand, which is Cyber Angel Benton. So you can play 3 copies of Cyber Angel Benton, and you can use all 3 of them as cost to continuously use your Drytron effects. And every Drytron monster has the same effect, which is... You can tribute one other Drytron monster or one ritual monster from your hand or field, special summon this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position, then you can do something. So, Drytrons, typically speaking, if you play them honestly, they're constantly sacrificing themselves to summon themselves, which is not good. That's bad. But Benton acts as an engine that allows you to constantly use ritual monsters to search and, like, you know, summon anything that you want. And then I believe... Okay, it only adds Light Fairy. So the last one that you would end on would be... I mean, if they gave us... they haven't given us... what's it called yet, have they? Diviner of the Herald? There's no way we have Diviner of the Herald. Yeah, Diviner of the Herald's not in the game. If they gave us Diviner of the Herald, that would be your normal summon, which would be amazing, because this card lets you mill Herald of the Arclight, which then activates its effect to add you another ritual monster. So, that would be wild. I don't think Diviner of the Herald was in the leaks, though. Hold on, let me see. Diviner of the Herald is not in the leaks. Okay. They've not lost their minds, but this is great. Then send one level 1 Drytron monster from your deck to your graveyard. So literally, all you have to do is reveal any level 1 Drytron in your hand, which you're going to play like 12 of. And then you add, you draw your Benton, and then you mill Alpha Thubane, and you just start your entire combo. That's insane. That's amazing. If your opponent controls a monster, add one Drytron spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Does that even matter? Drytrons do not have, like, any board-breaking cards like other decks do. Hold on, let me see. Drytron Astericism. During the main phase, start one Drytron or one ritual monster you control and one face-up monster your opponent controls. Your monster loses exactly 1,000 attack, and if it does, destroy that opponent's monster. I mean, that's... I guess that's okay. You don't really want to lose attack points with Drytrons, but I mean, at the same time, it does pop a card. I guess this could be fine as a one-of just to use with the skill. Drytron Eclipse. Target one Drytron monster in graveyard, add to your hand. During your main phase, except this turn, this card was set in the graveyard. Yeah, that's not good. I mean, Fafnir is fine. It does prevent you from. It does prevent your opponent from negating your ritual spells. Nova is okay. Medius Drytron, you're going to search anyway. Or Star Trek Drytron, they're probably not giving us. And then there's traps. So I don't know what they expect you to search if your opponent controls a monster, but I mean, fine. Maybe people will just play Asterisk because it's the only option. Astericism. That's alright. Yeah. Okay. Alright, that is it for the skills. Let's talk about the cards. Banishing Trap Hole. This is when your opponent summons a monster with 15 or less attack points, banish it. Branded Lost. Branded Lost is very funny, and unless we get Tri-Brigade Mercurier, this doesn't matter. Which, there were Tri-Brigades in the skill, so no, Tri-Brigade Mercurier has not been leaked. Okay. Branded Lost. The activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated. Also, your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. If you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add one Fallen Valbos or one monster that messages it from your deck to your hand. Without Mercurier and without Bestials, I don't even know if this card will see play. Probably not. Branded Retribution, which is the counter trap card. This card will definitely see play. Branded Retribution, counter trap card. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated that includes an effect that special summons a monster, return to the extra deck one face-up fusion monster you control, or two monsters in your graveyard that mention Fallen Valbaz as material. If you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, destroy that card. So, you would have to have two fusion monsters in your graveyard, or you would have to sacrifice one of your fusion monsters, but you do need to negate an effect that would summon a monster, which includes ritual spells or fusion spells. Remember that you cannot use this if your opponent controls Drytron Fafnir, though, because that field spell prevents your ritual spells from being negated. Very important. Oh, and then you can banish this card from your graveyard, target a branded spell or trap in your graveyard, and add it to your hand, which the skill will let you mill any branded spell or trap that you want, so this card allows you to get them back. Branded Sword. This one is not as good as it could be because we only have 3 zones. Banish any number of branded spell or traps from your graveyard, special summon that many Ice Blade tokens, which are dark dragons with 2,500 attack and 2,000 events. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of your banished monsters that has fallen Valbaz or mentions it, and add that card to your hand. Fine. Cattycorn. This is very funny. Cattycorn. If this card is special summoned while you control no cards in your field spell, you can add one field spell from your deck to your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target one field spell in your graveyard, add one card with its name from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect once per turn. So, Cattycorn is a level 4 Earth Plant monster. You might be wondering why we got this card. I am assuming this card is going to be played, or the intention is that this card is going to be played in Traptrix, which is why I think that the skill is not going to say you can only normal summon Traptrix monsters. I think it will probably say you can only summon plant or insect monsters. So I think that the idea is that you will normal summon Lone Fire Blossom, tribute it, special summon Cattycorn, and Cattycorn draw your Traptrix Garden, and then you will then be able to use the skill to reveal the Traptrix Garden to activate the rest of the skill. So that seems fine. I have no problem with Lone Fire in Traptrix. That's completely understandable. Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis. This card is insane. Diabolantis, the Menacing Mantis. If Duel Links mana would load. 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuners. If this card is synchro summon, you can send insect and or plant monsters from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of non-tuners used for its synchro summon. And if you control the synchro summon card, you can target 1 insect or plant monster you control and treat it as a tuner until the end of this turn. So this card lets you just mill insects and plants, which is fairly strong. Dragolithia Kunzite. That's a Primite adjacent card, isn't it? If the game would load. If this card is in your hand, you can send 1 level 7 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. If you do special summon this card, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target 1 normal monster in your graveyard and special summon in defense position. You might think, ooh, that's good setup. No, because you can only use 1 effect per turn. So, this card sees no play. Dragon Bites. I don't know what that card does. That sounds like a rush card. heck is this? It's an insect? Level 4 Dark Insect Tuner monster. When this card is normal summon, you can source someone level 4 or lower insect monster from your hand. That's Traptrix support. You can banish one level 4 or lower insect monster from your hand, graveyard, or field, then target one face-up monster you control, and increase its level by the level of the banished monster until the end of the turn. Okay, so I mean, this card will let you play Diabolantis and Traptrix. That's actually really funny. And then all the Drytron cards: Alpha Thumbane, Asterism, Beta Rastaban, Delta Ateus, Eclipse, Fafnir, Gamma Eltanin, Meteoros Draconids, Meteos Quadrantis, Meteor Shower, Mu Beta, Nova, and Zeta. So we have Draconids and Quadrantids. So I think that's everything except for the new Ritual monster. Yeah, so not DA. Okay. We're not getting DA. Oh, we're not getting Ultimate either, are we? Let's start with a U. Yeah, we're not getting Ultimate. Ooh. And we're not getting new, which I didn't expect we would get new. This is basically like 2000s Drytron. I mean, that's not terrible. Okay. All right. So let's go over it. Alpha Thumbane. Okay, so every Drytron main deck monster is level 1 with 2000 attack, 0 defense, and it's a machine that cannot be normal summoned or set. You contribute one other Drytron monster or one true monster from your hand or field, especially in this card from your hand or graveyard in defense position, and then they do an effect. And then they do a thing. And the thing that they do happens as part of the effect. So it's confusing. You need to understand. The monster will be in the graveyard or in the hand. Then it will be summoned to the field. And then another effect will activate. And you might think, I should be able to imperm this. I should be able to effect this. No, it's all part of one chain. So even though the monster is summoned and then something else is happening, you do not get to interrupt in the middle. You have to negate the effect that activates in the graveyard or the hand in order to negate all of it. Okay, so with that in mind, Alpha Thumbane adds a ritual monster from your deck to your hand. Beta Rastaban lets you add a ritual spell from your deck. Wait, that's not. Which one is the one that adds? Oh, Zeta is the one that. Okay. Beta Rastaban, this is the card that I don't play. Lets you return one of your banished Drytron monsters to the graveyard, which I don't think you ever banished Drytron, so that makes sense that you would not play this card. Delta lets you reveal a ritual monster or ritual spell in your hand, and then if you do, draw one card, which is cute, but I mean, that's not really like, you can't combo off of that. It's not guaranteed what you're going to draw, so it's useful for getting like staples, but it's not going to be part of like your main engine. You will play this card, but it won't be like, it'll be a card that you summon and then you don't rely on it for anything. Gamma lets you summon another Drytron monster from your graveyard. And then Zeta lets you add a ritual spell from your deck to your hand. So you have ritual monster, ritual spell, draw a card, and summon a monster from your graveyard. And the reason why you want to summon a monster from your graveyard is because you have an Exceed summon. Drytron, Mu, Beta, Fafnir. When you ritual summon, you detach materials from this card as monsters required for the ritual summon. So this is absolutely insane. This allows you to essentially not go minus on the board when you ritual summon, because you can detach materials from your Mu, Beta, Fafnir instead of tributing a monster that's on your field. If this card is Exceed summon, you can send one Drytron card from your deck to the graveyard, which will allow you to continue your play by like summoning whatever monster you didn't draw. And then when your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a machine ritual monster, as a quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, destroy the card. So this will allow you to get a spell negation if you keep one material attached to your Mu, Beta, Fafnir, which you might or you might not. It depends on what's in your hand. Because you do need to tribute 2 monsters to ritual summon either one of these. So you'll either use both materials from your Mu, Beta, Fafnir, or you will use one material from your Mu, Beta, Fafnir and one monster you control. Okay. Asterism, during the main phase, this is a quick play spell card. During the main phase, target one Drytron monster or one ritual monster you control, one face-up monster your opponent controls. Your monster loses 1,000 attack, and if it does, destroy that opponent's monster. And you might think that losing attack points does not matter, but it actually matters a lot because of how the ritual spell works, and we'll get to that. This is not a card I've ever played, but it, like I said, with the skill letting you draw this, it might see play as a 1-of just as like a way for you to interact when you go second. Eclipse, target a Drytron monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, and then during your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target one Drytron monster you control. It gains 2,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. This is bad. Fafnir. When this card is activated, you can add one Drytron spell or trap from your deck to your hand, which will usually be your Nova, unless you already have Nova, in which case you'll grab Meteonis. The activation and effect of ritual spells cannot be negated. Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned face up while you control a Drytron monster, you can reduce that monster's level by 1 per 1,000 of its turn attack points for the rest of the turn. This card lets you reduce your opponent's monster's level, which is really, really, really funny. So that does not matter for Link monsters, but it's hilarious for Xyz monsters and for Synchro monsters. Just keep that in mind. Drytron Nova, special summon one Drytron monster from your deck, but destroy it during the end phase. You cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set during the turn you activate this card. So this card just lets you literally special summon any Drytron card from your deck. Now remember that if you special summon a monster from, like, with an effect of either Nova or Gamma, it doesn't activate its effect, because its effect is not when this card is special summoned you can add a ritual monster. It's you can special summon this card from your graveyard by tributing and then add a ritual monster. So this card will get monsters on the field, which you can then use as a material to tribute for your other monsters, and then you can summon it from the graveyard after that. Just keep that in mind. Meteonis Drytron. This card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your hand or graveyard. You must also tribute machine monsters from your hand or your field, or as material from your Mu Beta Fafnir, whose total attack equals or exceeds the attack of the ritual monster you ritual summon. If this card is in your graveyard, you can target one Drytron monster you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack points until the end of your opponent's turn. If this does, add this card to your hand. Now, if we get Herald of the Arclight, which is not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination, but, or not Herald of the Arclight. We already have Herald of the Arclight. Diviner of the Herald. Okay. If we get Diviner of the Herald, not guaranteed, not leaked, just understand that I am saying this is an if. The skill does say that we are allowed to normal summon light monsters. So, that's why I'm saying this. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one fairy monster from your deck or extract to the graveyard. If you do, increase this card's level by that monster's level until the end of the turn. So, this card will allow you to send your Herald of the Arclight to draw one of your Drytron ritual monsters. Here's the thing. Herald of the Arclight's level is 4. That means that Diviner of the Herald's level becomes 6 when it uses its effect. And if you ritual summon Cyber Angel Benton, which you might think, why would I ritual summon this? Well, Meteonis Draconis, for some reason, allows you to ritual summon any monster from the graveyard. I don't know why it does this, but it does. This card can be used to ritual summon any ritual monster from your hand or your graveyard. So after you've tributed one of your Bentons, and it's in the graveyard, you can now activate Meteonis Drytron and ritual summon the same monster from your graveyard. Why would you do this? Well, Cyber Angel Benton is also level 6, and that will allow you to Xyz summon a rank 6 monster. And the monster that is typically made is Beatrice, Lady of the Eternal. Which I believe is limited 1 with Herald of the Arclight. No, Herald of the Arclight has been unlimited. There you go. Just in case you're curious. That is what Drytrons can do. So let's see if we get Diviner of the Herald. And then the trap cards, Drytron Meteor Shower, counter trap card. When your opponent normal or special summons a monster while you control ritual monster, negate the summon. If you do, shuffle that monster into the deck. Are we getting Meteor Shower? Yes, we are. That's a good card. That will probably see play. And then Meteor Roa Drytron. If a Drytron card is banished, you contribute one Drytron monster, then target up to 2 of your banished Drytron cards and add it to the hand. You can reveal one Meteonis Drytron in your hand, ritual summon one machine ritual monster from your hand or graveyard by tributing machine monsters from your hand or field whose total attack equal or exceed the attack of the ritual monster. Okay, so Meteora Drytron allows you to ritual summon during your opponent's turn. I've never even seen this card. Would it be good in a pure Drytron deck? Probably not, but then again, the only pure Drytron decks I've played have involved Nu 2 and Ursatron Alpha, so maybe? Fair enough. Now for the ritual monsters. Drytron Meteonis Draconids. 4,000 attack points. Your opponent cannot target this card with monster effects. If the total levels of monsters used for this ritual summon are 2 or less, this card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. During your opponent's turn, as a quick effect, you can banish monsters from your graveyard whose combined attack exactly equals 2,000 or 4,000. Then target one face-up card your opponent controls for every 2,000 attack of the total, and send those cards to the graveyard. So you can banish 2 monsters from your graveyard to then target 2 cards your opponent controls and send them to the graveyard. Pretty funny. Then there's Minion's Quadrantids. Your opponent cannot target this card with spells or traps. If the total levels of monsters used for this card's ritual summon were 2 or less, you can destroy all spells or traps your opponent controls. That is not if this card's ritual summon, is just literally like once per turn you can do this. If this ritual summon card is destroyed, you can special summon Drytron monsters from your graveyard, except Drytron Minion's Quadrantids, whose combined attack exactly equals 4,000. This card does not do anything during your opponent's turn, so you will summon Draconids and set Meteor Shower and pass, basically. Is that good? I mean, if you get Beatrice, it's going to be insane, but we'll have to see. Okay, Ida the Sun Magician, don't care about that. Giant Crackhorn, don't care about that. Guilty Gearfried the Magical Steel Knight, and Guilty of the D-Knight Soul Sphere. I mean, I can't imagine that these 2 cards will see play just by themselves. Shirao Class Carrier, I feel like I covered this card previously, so I don't really want to talk about this. Horus! Ooh, Lubellion the Searing Dragon has been confirmed. That's insane. Okay. Alright, Horus. Let's talk about Horus. Horus is a great deck. Not these. So, how does Horus work? Horus has a spell card called King Sarcophagus. Continuous spell card. Horus monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects unless those effects target the monster. You can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, send 1 Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard. You can only use this effect of King Sarcophagus up to 4 times per turn. Once per turn at the start of the damage step, if your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send that opponent's monster to the graveyard. Insane card. This is a fantastic card, played at 3. So, you can basically discard 3 cards from your hand to send 3 Horus monsters from your deck to the graveyard. You could send a 4th one, but you don't open 4 cards. Or you don't open 5 cards. Which is part of the reason why this deck will be bad. But, it should be interesting enough. And then you have Walls of the Imperial Tombs, which is a field spell. Which, if the card's name becomes King Sarcophagus while in the field zone. So you could potentially play up to 7 King Sarcophaguses with 3 Walls of the Imperial Tombs, 3 King Sarcophaguses, and then Terraforming. During your main phase, you can add 1 Horus monster from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. If you activate the effect of Horus the Black Flame Deity, you can draw 1 card. Is Horus the Black Flame Deity been revealed? No. Horus the Black Flame Deity has not been revealed. Ooh, hold on. This is a complete leak list. The only cards that have been leaked are Happy, Mseti, and King Sark. Really? That's low even for Konami. Okay, I guess. Okay, I talked about King Sark. Let me talk about Mseti. Mseti is the main card in Horus. It's a dark spellcaster monster, level 8, 3,000 attack, 1,800 defense. If you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. So every Horus monster has an effect where if you control a card that is named King Sarcophagus, so either the field spell or the continuous spell, you can just special summon this card from your graveyard. That is not an effect. It cannot be negated. It is just a special summon. So you can negate it if they have a card that negates a special summon. You can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card, to add 1 King Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand. Then you can draw 1 card. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, you can send 1 card on the field in the graveyard. So, the Horus cards all have an effect that says, do not touch my stuff. If you touch my stuff, I will kill you. And that's really funny. Basically, they are guardians of the Pharaoh's treasure. And they protect each other, and they protect themselves. Happy Guidance of Horus. This is a level 8 Wind Beast Warrior monster. If you control King Sark, you can special summon this card from your graveyard. If another card you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect while this card is in your monster zone, you can target 2 cards that are banished and or in the graveyards. Either add them to the hand or shuffle them into the deck. So this card allows you to either like rip cards out of your opponent's graveyard so they can't use them and shuffle them back into the deck, or return hand traps to your hand, which is really funny. I mean, okay, if that's the only 3 cards that got leaked, whatever. So, do I think this will be good? No. Only 3 cards? No. if we get all the Horus cards, there's 2 other level 8s that you can send. You could potentially revive both of them and then link them into Silhouette Rabbit, and then basically go Silhouette Rabbit in the extra monster zone with a trap card, and then Happy and Horus and King Sark. And that would be mediocre. Or you could go Xyz Summon into Sanafon the Sky Prison in the extra monster zone, then Happy and Horus, or Happy and Imseti, and then Sanafon effect. You have to use Sanafon's effect after you've summoned Happy and Imseti, but you have to Xyz Summon Sanafon first, so that you would have space to revive it. Like again, the 3-card monster zone is awful. Okay, so you have 4 monsters in your graveyard. You summon 2 of them, which is going to be the Keb Hezenef and the Duamatef. Both of those are so like unimportant that I'm not even going to cover their effects, because literally the only time you summon these cards is either to win the game by beating people to death, or to use them as Xyz or link material. These cards do not stay on the field. So you summon these 2 cards first, Xyz into Sanafon or link into Silhouette Rabbits, so that they're in your extra monster zone. You have space. Then you revive Imseti and you revive Happy and you pass your turn. The problem is you can't even do that, because if you're going first, you activate King Sark, you pitch 3 cards. Unless one of the cards in your hand is a horse monster, then you can't even use the effect to get all 4 monsters in your graveyard, which is awful. So I guess you'll have to play all 3 of them all 4 of them at 3, just to make sure that you can always have at least 1 in your hand to get all 4 of them in the graveyard. But even then, you don't really have that many good rank 8s. It's just Sanafon and maybe Ding Yursu, Orcus of the Evening Star. This is a rank 8 deck, but there's no, like, we don't have Photon Lord. We don't have like Titanic Galaxy. So it's really early for Horus to come out. Horus is really funny by itself. And I do think that like a Horus Silhouette Rabbit deck would be interesting, which is why I was so excited to cover these. But seeing only 3 cards leaked is really, really sad. Alright, that's enough for that. Lubellion the Searing Dragon. Alright, branded players, get excited. This is a card we have been waiting for. Lubellion the Searing Dragon. This is a fusion of a Dark Monster plus Fallen of Albaz. If this card is fusion summoned, you can discard 1 card, fusion summon 1 level 8 or lower fusion monster from your extra deck, except Lubellion the Searing Dragon, by shuffling the fusion materials listed on it from among the cards in your field, in your graveyard, or in your face-up banished cards. But for the rest of the turn, this card cannot attack. Also, you cannot special summon for the extra deck except fusion monsters. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, you activate an effect to summon a fusion monster, which will be your Albion the Branded Dragon. Albion the Branded Dragon, fusion of Fallen of Albaz and a light monster. Then you activate Albion's effect and you banish like Fallen of Albaz and then maybe a dark monster from your hand to summon Lubellion, and then Lubellion will discard a card to shuffle the Fallen of Albaz back into the deck in order to fusion summon a 3rd monster. Maybe that is your maybe that's your Brigand. Hold on. Maybe that's your Titaniclad the Ash Dragon, so that you can win the game this turn. Maybe it's Brigand the Glory Dragon, so that you can... No, Brigand the Glory Dragon doesn't do anything. Maybe it's Sprint the Iron Dash Dragon, so you can pop cards your opponent controls. Maybe it's... Wow, we still don't even have Rinbrum? This deck is so bad. That's it? That's all we have for Fallen of Albaz targets? And we're just getting Lubellion? Are we getting any other Fallen of Albaz? We're just getting Lubellion. F. Okay, well, this card is insane. This card is very important, but, I mean, if you're not getting another fusion monster, you don't really have a target to make it with it. Typically, you would use it to make Mirror Jade, but we don't have Mirror Jade yet, so... yay, I guess? There you go. Alright. Magician of Faithfulness. I looked at this card earlier. It's really funny. It's not worth talking about. Migratory Zeriort. I think this is a Marin card. Water Wing Beast. If a Water Exceeds monster is on the field, you can special summon this card from your hand. During your main phase, you can attach one material from a card you control, special summon a level 3 or 4 water monster from your graveyard, but its effects are negated. Also, it can be treated as a level 5 monster this turn if you Exceed summon a Water Exceeds monster. This card basically allows you to summon your Ice Princess 0 yards, which is fine. Alright, Primite. 3 Primite cards, but they're the 3 most... Well, wait, hold on. Is that it? I'm pretty sure... Am I looking at the right link? I'm pretty sure I saw someone say that Lordly Load was leaked. Alright. I mean, even if it's just Drill Beam, that's still insane, so I guess I'll cover this. Alright, Primite Dragon Ether Barrel is literally like one of the best cards in the game. This card is literally in Yu-Gi-Oh! This card is top tier. If this card is normal summon, you can set one Primite spell or trap from your deck. You can only use this effect once per turn. You can attribute this card to send a normal monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then during your standby phase, if you have a normal monster on your field or in your graveyard, you can add this card from your graveyard to your hand. This card constantly comes back. It uses your normal summon and allows you to easily play all of your Primite cards. Good. Alright, now apparently the only card that's coming is Drill Beam. Drill Beam is a quick play spell card that says reveal one Primite card or one normal monster in your hand except Primite Drill Beam. Or if you control a normal monster or a level 5 or higher Primite monster except a token, you can activate this card without revealing a card, target one face-up card on the field, and negate its effects, and if you do, banish the card. So this card allows you to... It's basically like infinite impermanence. It allows you to negate a card that's on the field, but it can also target a spell or a trap card, and it banishes the card as well, which means that it also acts as a form of removal, which is absolutely crazy. During your main phase, if you control a Primite monster, which remember, your Ether Barrel will constantly recycle itself back to your hand, so you always have Primites as long as you always have a normal monster, you can set this card from your graveyard. You can only use this effect once per turn. It also, even though you set it from the graveyard, does not banish itself when it leaves the field. So your opponent has to deal with Ether Barrel searching you a card every turn, and Drill Beam negating a card and banishing it every turn, and that's just your normal summon. You get to do everything else. This just lets you, while your normal summon, constantly draw and constantly banish and negate. Amazing, fantastic. I can't stress how important these cards are. Literally, I know that when I've told you guys to ignore skills in the past, you don't listen to me. This, I pray to you, please, you can find a way to play Dragoon with just Primite and like Red Eyes, Dark Magician, and a couple of hand traps. Like, you don't need any of the other Dark Magician cards. You don't need any of the other Red Eyes cards. You can literally just Primite, Dark Magician, Red Eyes, maybe Timaeus the United Dragon, maybe Polymerization, just some good fusion options, and then Staples, and you win the game. And then the other card that's revealed is Imperial Dragon. Okay. Primite's Imperial Dragon cannot be normal summoned except by attributing a normal monster. During your opponent's main phase, as a quick effect, you can reveal this card in your hand. Immediate effect resolves normal summon a Primite monster. So during your opponent's turn, you can tribute a normal monster you control to summon this card. If this card is tribute summoned, you can apply these effects in sequence, negate the effects of all monsters your opponent currently controls, and banish all monsters your opponent controls with the same type or attribute as a normal monster in the graveyard. The same type or attribute. So if you play Dragoon, right, and you have Dark Magician and Red Eyes in your graveyard, then this card will allow you to negate all of your opponent's monsters and then banish any Dark monster, any Dragon monster, and any Spellcaster monster. All of them. That's really, really good. And you might think, okay, but how am I going to have a normal monster on my field? That part's a little bit tricky with the cards that we have leaked, but since we have Ether Barrel coming, I'm pretty sure we'll get more than just Drill Beam. So the card that you would use is Primite Lordly Load. When this card is activated, add one Primite card from your deck to your hand. You can declare one normal monster card name, special summon one declared normal monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard in defense position, but you cannot activate the effects of special summon monsters on the field for the rest of the turn. Normal monsters and Primite monsters you control gain 300 attack for each normal monster with a different name in your graveyard. So, the typical combo is normal summon Ether Barrel, set Lordly Load, activate Lordly Load, draw Drill Beam, so that you have all 3 cards in rotation. Lordly Load every turn allows you to revive your Dark Magician or your Red Eyes Black Dragon. That will allow you to just, summon your Imperial Dragon. That's all the cards that I'm sure are going to come, but, I mean, we could also get Primite Fusion. Fusion summon one Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck by shuffling materials from your field, graveyard, or banishment into the deck, including a normal monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard to add one level 5 or higher Primite monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which would be your Imperial Dragon. You can only use this effect once per turn. Now, unfortunately, Red Eyes Dark Dragoon is a spellcaster monster, so you can't use this card to make a Dragoon, but you can use it to make other cards, like, obviously you can use it to make the Fusion monster, but I think there's, like, Lord of the First Dragons. Or, hold on. What is it called? First? It's first something. I'm not going to be able to find this because first is like used in everything. First of the Dragons. As a fusion of 2 normal monsters, must be fusion summoned, cannot be special summoned by other ways. You can only control one first of the Dragons. This card cannot be destroyed by battle, except by battle with a normal monster, and is unaffected by other monster effects. So that's an example of what a card you could use Primate Fusion on, but that card has not been leaked, so it's probably not coming. But, I mean, I'm just telling you. Other cards from Primites that we could potentially get. The fusion monster is called Primite Dragon Nether Berzelius. It is a fusion of a Primate monster plus 1 or more normals. It only has 1600 attack points, but it gains 1000 attack for each normal monster used for its material. Negate the activated effects of monsters your opponent controls whose level, rank, or link rating is less than or equal to the total number of monsters in your normal monsters in your graveyard and in your field. If this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, you can special summon one normal monster from your deck in defense position. So, this card is interesting because it allows you to basically negate like level 1 or level 2 monsters. I mean, you can potentially like get a lot of normal monsters in your graveyard, but you probably won't. So it's basically like a way to stop starters, and especially if Sprite becomes a good deck. You know, if you get 2 monsters in your graveyard, Dark Magician and Red Eyes, this card will stop all level 2 monsters' effects, which will basically shut Sprite off entirely, which is really funny. Then we have Howl, we have Scream, and we have Roar. I mean, none of these cards got leaked. Of all the cards that come out, I guess Scream would probably be the most likely. Counter trap card: when your opponent normal summons or special summons a monster while you control a normal monster or a level 5 or higher Primate monster, except a token, negate the summon if you do banish the monster. And then during your standby phase, if you control a Primate monster, you can set this card from your graveyard, but banish it when it leaves the field. So this card requires you to control a Primate monster during your standby phase, which means that your Ether Barrel has to have survived a turn. So that's less likely, but it's still pretty good. Okay, that is it for that leak. Then we have Silhouette Rabbit, Silhouette Trick, Spriggan's Kit, Sword Soul Strife, Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare, which I'm pretty sure is already in the game. Oh, it's not. Okay, fine. And then all the Traptrix cards. Okay, cool. Sword Soul Strife is nothing to talk about. If a card is banished, you can banish one Worm, Synchro Monster, or Sword Soul card from your hand, deck, or graveyard. If this card is banished, you can special summon one Sword Soul token, and while that token is in the field, you can't summon except Synchro Summon. So, yeah, it's a bad card. It'll be coming for completeness' sake, but you won't play it. Spriggan's Kit is a card that searches Branded Fusion, but we don't have Branded Fusion, so that's weird. Spriggan's Kit, level 4 Dark Beast Monster. If you can have a fusion monster that lists Fallen of Albaz's material on your field or in your graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand. If this card is normal special summon, you can add one branded spell or trap that's banished or in your deck or graveyard to your hand, then place one card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So, it's a cute card, draws you Branded Fusion. We don't have Branded Fusion, so rip. Okay. I don't care about Stacey Ramirin, Silhouette Rabbit. Silho Hat Rabbit is a Link 2 illusion monster that requires 2 effect monsters. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is Link Summon, you can set one continuous trap directly from your deck with an effect that special summons itself as a monster. Also, this card cannot be used as Link material for the rest of the turn. If a card is special summoned from a spell trap zone to the monster zone, you can target one spell trap your opponent controls and destroy it. So you can use this in the Eldritch deck to summon, to set your Eldritch trap cards, which is kind of funny. I don't really know what else you'll probably use it for right now, except Horus. And with Horus, you'll probably set the Silhouette Trick, which is special summon this card as an effect monster. With the following effect, if this card is special summon, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of illusion monsters you control, negate their effects until the end of the turn. And if this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. So this card comes out as an illusion monster, and Silhouette Rabbit is also an illusion monster. This card allows you to negate 2 cards, which is fine. Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare. If your opponent has special summon a monster this turn, target one monster your opponent controls with 2,000 or more attack and destroy it. Then if you have a whole normal trap card in your graveyard, you can banish one monster from your opponent's graveyard. You can only activate one Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare per turn. This card's great. This card will probably be like a replacement for us not having Treacherous Trap Hole, because Treacherous Trap Hole is still limited to 1. So yeah, instead of having the skill giving you Treacherous Trap Hole, they're just like, okay, we'll print Terrifying Trap Hole Nightmare so you can play that card. Seems fine. Oh, Timaeus the United Dragon. Oh, I guess, did I not even talk about Timaeus? I guess I might not have even mentioned what Timaeus does. Timaeus the United Dragon. This is this card that gets played from the Dark Magician skill. You can send one spellcaster monster or one spell or trap that mentions Dark Magician from your hand or field to the graveyard, spell summon this card from your hand, and during your main phase you can fusion summon one fusion monster from your X deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including a spellcaster monster. So this card, since it is a dragon effect monster, can be used alongside Dark Magician to summon either Dark Magician the Dragon Knight or Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So, great card. Okay. Ultimaya Zulkin. We'll cover that real quick before we get into the Traptrix stuff. Ultimaya Zulkin is a synchro monster whose original level is always treated as 12, cannot be synchro summoned, must be special summoned from your X deck by sending 2 level 5 or higher monsters you control with the same level to the graveyard, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner, cannot be special summoned by other ways. Once per turn, when a spell or trap card is set on your side of the field, except during the damage step, you can special summon one Power Tool Synchro monster or one level 7 or 8 Synchro monster from your deck, which is a dragon monster. Cannot be targeted for attacks or by card effects while you control another Synchro monster. So Ultimaya Zulkin is basically like supposed to be like the Crimson Dragon. It has the Crimson Dragon artwork, and it lets you summon any of the Siren Dragons from your X deck for free. What you will do with this card is you set a trap card, and then you can special summon Crimson Dragon from your X deck. And if you set Scrap Iron Scarecrow specifically, which I don't even know if we have that card yet, do we? We do have Scrap Iron Scarecrow. Okay, so Scrap Iron Scarecrow has the effect where when an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can target the attacking monster, negate the attack. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. So, oh, we have Scrap Iron Signal. Oh, it's even better. Okay. Scrap Iron Signal. When your opponent activates a monster effect while you control a synchro monster that lists a synchro monster as a material, which Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon does. Negate the activation. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. So, here's what you can do. You make your Ultimaya Zulkin. You set your Scrap Iron Signal. Then that lets you play your Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. Your opponent activates a monster effect. You activate Scrap Iron Signal. Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon requires a Synchro monster as material, so you can negate the effect, and also after that set the card. You set this card, and then that triggers Zulkin's effect again, allowing you to summon another level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster from your X deck, which would probably be... I mean, you could just summon Black Rose Dragon and blow up the field. Just saying, but probably not. Let's see, level 7, level 8... and Synchro. You could summon Black Rose Moonlight Dragon to bounce a card. You could summon Adamancipator Risen so that you could... Oh, no, wait, no. This isn't a dragon. Oh, I have to specialize. I have to specify dragon, too. My fault. Come on, Duel Links Mana. You can do it. You could summon Black Rose Moonlight Dragon to bounce a card. You could summon Borreload Savage Dragon if you have a Link monster in your graveyard to get a free negate. You could summon Clearwing for extra negates. Excel Synchro if you want to try and quick Synchro. Black Rose to blow the field. Void Ogre Dragon. No, Void Ogre Dragon won't work. It's limited one alongside Crystal Synchro Dragon. That looks to be the main cards, which seems fine. Like, you can definitely use Zulkin for some funny plays. Alright. Now, Traptrix. Okay. Trap Tantalizing Tune. Discard one level 4 or insect or plant monster or one normal trap card to draw 2 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of your banished level 4 insect or plant monsters or one of your normal traps, and place it on the bottom of your deck. You can only use each effect once per turn. This card lets you basically draw 2. It's basically like Pot of Greed. Like, yes, you have to discard a card. So you're not going +2 because you're losing 2 cards from your hand, so it's net neutral. But you can revive cards from your graveyard. Like, Traptrix don't care about discarding cards. And then you just get to draw 2 more cards. So this card will be great. You could probably play this card at 3. It'll be fine. And then as far as Traptrix, okay. Arachnocampa, unaffected by whole effects. The first time each set card in your spell and trap zone would be destroyed by a card effect, it is not destroyed. During the main phase, if you control a Traptrix monster as a quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except insect or plants. So this card allows you to go into a immediate Xyz summon or Link summon. It's a great card. You can also special summon it from your hand during your opponent's turn, which will allow you to basically prevent your opponent from destroying your spells and traps. So it's a good card to search as well. Traptrix Pudica, unaffected by whole normal traps. When this card is normal summon, you can add 1 Traptrix Garden from your deck to your hand, so it searches the field spell, which is fantastic. If this card is special summon, you can target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls and banish it. Also, during their next standby phase of your opponent can choose one of their banished monsters and special summon them. So, Pudica is a card that you special summon off of Sarah during your opponent's turn to banish one of their monsters so that they can't use the effect, and then you give it back to them during the next standby phase. It's pretty good. Traptrix Pinguicula, the last Xyz monster. This requires 2 level 4s. While this card has material, it is unaffected by trap cards and by the activated effects of other monsters with the same type as this card's material. You can attach 1 material from this card to add a Traptrix monster from your deck to your hands. This will allow you to continue to extend with your Arachnocampa or something else. If a monster you're owned by your opponent is sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can attach one of those monsters to this card's material. So basically, you activate one of your traps to banish or destroy one of your opponent's monsters. Then you attach that monster to Pinguicula as material, and now it's unaffected by monsters of the same type, which is really, really strong for you. Then for the Link monsters, we have Sarah. Sarah requires 1 non-Link Traptrix monster. This Link summon card is unaffected by traps. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn and not during the damage step. If a trap card is activated, you can special summon 1 Traptrix monster from your deck with a different name than the cards you control. If one of your other Traptrix monsters' effects is activated, you can set a whole normal trap directly from your deck. So Sarah is insane. I have made multiple Traptrix videos at this point in Master Duel, so watch my Traptrix combo guides if you want to know how Traptrix works. You basically have so many 2-card combos that you can use to play your entire deck. It's insane. Traptrix Cularia, this requires 2 insects and or plants. This Link summon monster is unaffected by traps. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. After you activate a whole normal trap card, you can set it instead of sending it to the graveyard. And during your end phase, you can target 1 Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it in defense position. So Cularia will allow you to recycle your trap cards by allowing them to stay out the field. And it also allows you to special summon your Traptrix monsters from your graveyard, but they have to be in defense position, which means you can't revive Link monsters with this effect. Pretty good. In particular, since this card sets a card instead of sending it to the graveyard, this can actually be used. This can actually be used to trigger Ultimaya Zulkin's effect, which I guess is why they're giving it to us right now. So, if you want to be cheeky, you can play an Ultimaya Zulkin Traptrix deck. I don't know that you have enough extra deck space for that, but it would be really funny to see someone try and pull that off. Lastly, we have Traptrix Adipus. This requires 2 or more Link monsters, including an insect or a plant. This Link summon card is unaffected by traps. All Traptrix monsters you control gain 1,000 attack points while you have a normal trap card in your graveyard, which is fantastic. Exactly what you want from your boss monster. Once per turn, you can target 1 face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of insects and plants you control, negate their effects until the end of this turn. Then you can apply this effect, banish 1 normal trap from your graveyard if you do destroy one of those targeted cards. Now, that is not a quick effect, but Adipus is definitely a card that you can use to beat your opponent to death, so that's a good card. So, Sarah is the card you end on, Adipus is the card you make on your turn. Traptrix Garden. During your main phase, you can normal summon one Traptrix monster in addition to your normal summoner set. You can only gain this effect once per turn. The first time each insect or plant monster you control will be destroyed by battle each turn is not destroyed. You can banish one monster you control to special summon one Traptrix from your hand or your graveyard. You can only use each effect once per turn. Amazing, really good card. Gives you extra normal summons with your Pudica, so you win the game. You know, you can Xyz, you can Link, you can do whatever you want. Good card. And then lastly, Traptrix Holotea. You can activate this card the turn it was set by discarding a normal trap card. Special summons card in defense position as a normal monster. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Traptrix monster in your graveyard and special summon it. You can only use one Holotea effect per turn only once that turn. So this card does get discarded by the skill. You can use this effect to special summon a Traptrix monster from your graveyard and continue your summoning plays. Excellent. There you go. Those are all the cards that got leaked. Those are all the skills that got leaked. I think that Primite Dragoon will be insane. I think that Traptrix has finally gotten the tools it needs to be decent. And I think Drytrons are awesome. So, yeah, that's. I look forward to this box. I think this box will be really good. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. My name is Serafian. I was thrilled to have all of you with me.